The continuation of the reopening trade drove the markets in the first quarter, namely that vaccine rollouts will allow for economic reopening and earnings recovery, while fiscal and monetary stimulus remains in place. The funds outperformed in Q1 on security selection within high-yield bonds, Canadian names like New Vista Energy and Cineplex, within energy infrastructure, names like Cheniere and Enbridge, and in financials, where that part of the market benefits from higher government bond yields. Real estate was a slight drag on relative performance, as some of the beaten up parts of the market like office and retail real estate that we don't own were some of the strongest performers. Asset allocation also added value, as with equities outperforming high yield, and we've been shifting capital from high yield into equities as yields within the high yield bond space are near record lows, even though we think we get further spread compression from here. The key differentiator of these funds and our income from income asset classes strategy is while we may own government bonds when we get nervous, they're not core to our portfolio construction like in balanced funds. Government bonds in Canada and the US were down between 6 to 7% at the 10-year point as yields backed up about 80 basis points in the quarter on increased optimism and higher inflation expectations. The fact that big tech was relatively flat in the quarter and that value and income factors within equities outperformed growth also helped drive outperformance in the balanced fund category, even though we don't think of our funds as balanced funds. In terms of future positioning, we continue to embrace the reopening trade. We think government bond yields are probably higher from here, although the pace probably moderates, which is important for credit and equity valuations. Economic growth probably returns to trend levels in 2022, transient inflationary pressures abate. This broadly favors equities over bonds, credit over government bonds, short duration over longer positioning, and Canadian dollars over US dollars. And this is how we've positioned the funds. I'm Geof Marshall. I'll speak to you next quarter.